So I just got a new knife. Came in the mail yesterday, and I opened it up just a minute ago. It's this one at the top here. It's a Joker Knives. It's a company out of Spain, Fabricado en España. It was made in Spain, and that knife is the Joker Nomad 6.5, which is the most recent model of their Nomad line of knives. So Joker Nomads are pretty popular as camping bushcraft survival knives. And this is the 6.5. Let's see if my phone will focus on that. 6.5 inch, and so it's got a slightly longer blade on it. And so what I'm doing here is I've got my three other sort of outdoor / camp knives laid out here, and I was going to kind of talk about why I decided to go with the 6.5. Maybe it would give some other people some ideas, or at least give me a chance to sort of explain my thinking, if nothing else. So the first sort of outdoor knife that I ever got was this SOG Seal Pup Elite, and it lives pretty much in my car as my emergency if I needed it. If my car broke down and I needed a knife for whatever reason, this is the guy. He lives in my car. And when I first got into sort of the idea of getting a fixed blade for camping and outdoor activity, this was kind of a survival knife that harkens back to, obviously sort of a tactical military style. I remember seeing these when I was active duty in the Air Force. They sold them on base, and I thought they were pretty cool, but I didn't really have much of a need for them at the time. And so this is a good knife. It's an AUS 8 stainless steel. I keep it pretty sharp. The things I'm not real huge fan of on this knife is the jimping is very aggressive, almost to the point where it can hurt your thumb if you're really getting in there. I do like the choil. If you needed to choke up on that for whatever reason, you can. The handle itself is pretty grippy. It's pretty comfortable. I think though, just my taste in overall aesthetics, I wasn't a big fan of the clip point. It's a very aggressive sort of tactical styling. And if that speaks to people, that's great. Obviously, at one point in my life, I really appreciated that. I think of my tastes have changed since then. And so I started looking more into like bushcraft and camping style of knives. And I think we all know that several years ago, the Becker BK2 was the survival knife to have. So that was the next knife that I obtained. And that's this guy here. And the positives about this knife are the handle is big, it's comfortable, the sheath is pretty nice. I like this. I don't know what it is, Zytel or plastic, I don't know. The sheath is pretty nice. This blade, however, is super heavy. I think it's a 5-inch blade or roughly around there, and it's very thick. This is a very impractical knife. I mean, this is, if you just want something that's never going to break, you don't have to worry about breaking it. You can, do whatever you want to it. That guy will do it. But if you're wanting it for, I mean, it's just impractical. I mean, there's not a lot of reasons you would need a knife this thick with this relatively short of a blade. So this knife hasn't seen a lot of use. I've taken it camping once or twice. The knife that I much prefer to that was the one that has kind of become my go-to knife for most things. That's this guy here. This is the Becker BK16 from Kabar. This knife is a little thinner. Obviously, the stock is much thinner. The jimping is quite a bit more comfortable than on the SOG. I really like this knife. It's a drop point. It's a carbon steel, and I use this one actually at home cooking and doing a lot of stuff, even just at home. Just because I like using it. I like to find excuses to use it. I really enjoy this knife. But I find sometimes that I wish it had an extra inch or inch and a half. I wish that blade was, I would take this exact knife and add an inch or an inch and a half to that blade length, and I'd be happy with it all day. I still love this knife. It's kind of my go-to. But when I started thinking about getting another knife, I was thinking in terms of utility, what did I want? And I really wanted a BK2 type of knife, but just more practical, right? So the blade I feel is a little short. The stock is a little too thick. The handle's great. There's no jimping here. which it could probably benefit. I mean, if it had something similar to that BK16, that would be probably ideal on this knife. I don't know. Obviously no choil on here. You know, this guy's kind of touted as just the very basic. It can do anything. You're not going to have to worry about it or break it, worry about breaking it. And that's cool if you like that. But for wood chores was kind of what I was looking at. So in comes this joker. So let's talk about why I chose this guy. So first of all, the length, right? So I talked about wanting some extra length on my versus the BK16, and this thing has that, right? So boy, I don't really know how to do a comparison here with one hand, but maybe like this, you can see the difference in the length. This guy is a 5mm stock, so it is also thicker than probably is necessary. Boy, can I lay that one down and get a... I'm struggling with one hand here. Okay, so let's see if I can maybe do it like this. Here we go. Okay, so you'll see it's a little thinner than the BK2, which is good. I mean, I feel like the BK2 is overbuilt to the point of being impractical, to be honest. I'm not a huge fan of the thickness of that blade. So I feel like this is definitely a stock that's you don't have to worry about breaking, but it's a little more realistic. It falls a little more into the line of what you would want out of a blade. Now, additionally, this jimping is great. I mean, it's grippy, but it's not cutting. It's not going to cut into you. I mean, that is about perfect, honestly. I like the styling. I've never had a knife with wooden scales. I kind of dig that look. It's kind of my aesthetic right now. The point on this, so this is a little different of a, I guess it's still considered drop point, but it's kind of almost got a, what would you call that? I don't know. Instead of sort of dropping down, I don't know what I'm even trying to describe here. So, you know, on the BK16, it kind of curves out and down, and this one kind of like slides down and out. So I'm not sure what that's called. Maybe it's kind of like a, I don't even know. I don't even know what that is. But this thing's got a convex edge on it, which is what you would typically find on a axe or a hatchet. So this thing is specifically designed for, in my opinion, wood processing, right? This is the camp knife that the BK2, that I wish the BK2 had been when I got it. So this thing, it's got some weight out here towards the tip. You can see that big belly, thick stock right out there to the tip. It's going to have a very strong tip. This thing's going to be able to chop. You're going to be able to baton and split wood with it if you need to. It's got enough length on it that batoning is not going to be as much of an issue as, say, with the B2. You know, this short blade for batoning, I mean, you're really limited to very small diameter pieces of wood for that. So anyway, those were just some of the factors that, you know, I didn't super love about the BK2. I know it's had its moment in the sun. I know everybody loved that. It was the go-to survival, camping, bushcraft, everything knife there for a few years. I really feel like Joker Knives has refined sort of the idea, and this is, in my opinion, going to be a fantastic camping knife. Now, I haven't, you know, I literally got it out of the box just now, so, you know, I'm, you know, just speculative, but for what you want in a camp knife, other than maybe missing a choil here, would be kind of nice if you wanted to get up on this blade, but that thing's going to be much better for batoning. Just for the extra length on that blade is going to be a big help. So anyway, some of my thoughts, sort of what I was looking for. This knife sort of checked all the boxes. It feels like it's built really with really well quality. I can't emphasize enough how nice that jimping is on there. That is beautiful jimping. So this seems like it's going to be a long-time friend. This may be my go-to knife for a while. You know, it may be my new go-to guy. So I guess one more thought I would add is another factor that I forgot to mention here is the fact that this thing is stainless steel is a pretty nice feature. So the Kabar knives are high carbon. They tend to be a little bit prone to corrosion, so I keep you know, I keep them oiled all the time so they don't rust. That'll be kind of nice to not have to worry about that as much with the stainless steel on this guy. So anyway, really looking forward to it. I'm excited about this knife, excited to get out there and do it. I know there's not a lot of videos out there right now about it, so I thought I'd maybe put this one out there for anyone who's looking at it or thinking about it, share some of my thoughts and tell you about it. Pretty cool knife if you're interested. Right now in the US, the only place I could find it was a place online called Chicago Knife Works. So they had it, I think it was in the 120 range. And they've got it with, you know, some different scales on there. They've got some black micarta or green micarta. I personally am just a fan of the wood look on this guy. I think it's kind of a classic outdoors knife look, and this is kind of a really nice, I really dig the aesthetic on this guy. Just a beautiful looking knife. So anyway, I thought I'd share that in case anyone was interested or wanted to know about it. That's all I got. Talk to you later. Bye.